You're listening to the Coach's Journey podcast, exposing the struggles and celebrating the successes in the life of coaches who are action takers and creating authentic impact in today's world. Whether you're just starting out, expanding your reach, or exploding your impact, you're in the right place right now. Stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Now, here are your hosts of the Coach's Journey podcast.
What is the significance of that challenging yourself towards that mastery level, and how are you bringing that more and more into coaching?
Where did that come from? Yeah, that's a good question. It's just a strive for excellence that I think, maybe came from my dad, who was always like tinkering with stuff and improving it and making stuff better. And I think I carried that along. So I saw it in my cycling, I saw it in my IT career. And then as I went into, the real estate investing, I like to optimize these deals that we have, right? Because focus on what you have, improving that versus trying to go and do the next thing and letting stuff kind of falter behind you. So I pushed that. And then also with the coaching again, right? I can only take, one of the things that you and I have talked about, Faisal, you can only take your client as far as you've gone yourself. And I didn't want to hit that wall. I was like, well, sorry, I can't help you anymore. I'm out. If I can stay up or a little bit ahead of where my clients are going, that's going to continue to help them move forward, right? So I just feel like, there is that opportunity to really see how far we can go and when do we start hitting that limit of our own capability. So that's pretty much what I've tried to practice. So I only do a few things and I try to do them well versus scattering myself across a spectrum.
I think that's such a powerful lesson for all of us, because it's easy to fall into, let me do a bunch of different things, whether it's in business or in anything else that we do. Like we have this idea of diversify everything, which there is some common sense to that. But if you're not doing something well, if something that you're doing, you're not improving that, and you move on to the next thing and then the next thing and the next thing, like you're just scattered between different things that you can't do very well in, and things break down over time. One of the things I learned, and just like you, that I love, is that if I'm going to go into this field, it's not about being better than others. It's about really seeing how far we can go, one, to serve people, but coaching is a field I feel like it's more an experience of growing yourself. So for me, this was actually initially for me, how it started was, this was the next level of growth for me, is gain a lot from my sessions as I'm working with my clients. In fact, I joke around about this, but if my clients knew how much I grow out of this, they might stop paying me. and coaches know this, that they really powerfully grow through this experience of coaching, because it's not like you're the type of expert, I'm teaching you this thing. It's like you're going on this adventure together. You don't know where you're going to go if you're going deep enough with this. Mm-hmm. There are times where I've come out of a session, I'm thinking about, my clients had these insights, and I'm sitting there for a week. I'm like, holy shoot, I never thought of that myself. And other times I've been like, it was an emotional experience, but it affected me to a greater degree. And I had to unravel that. Well, why did it affect me? Mm-hmm. And that's to me, like, this journey for coaching is a two-way street in a sense. So I'm curious, for you, Jens, how do you see your coaching journey, that mastery towards that coaching journey, and how do you connect it with the rest of the things that you're doing, which is really cool, all the stuff that you're doing?
The coaching journey, as I talked about, it's about improving my skills in that to helping my clients. But also I'm quote unquote selective around the people that I work with. They're all in the real estate space one way or another, because I feel attracted to that. And I think also, they feel attracted to me because of what I've been doing in that space. Right. But I also feel like people that are ready to even consider investing in real estate and so forth, they are probably pretty motivated to take action. I'd like to work with people that are ready to take action and want to move forward and create something amazing, right? So I really have seen the connection being pretty amazing between coaching people, helping them, and then also them potentially partnering with them. So there's been partnerships created through through my coaching and them starting to find these deals, and they may need me to come in and help them getting across the finish line and so forth. So that's a continuous thing that I really have worked on, and I want to actually, I'm working on taking that to the next level, where we're planning in a kind of a mastermind event starting next year, where we're going to get people together to create those connections around the team you build, around seeing how you can achieve much more through the people that you surround yourself with, how you can pay it forward. We're going to call it a pay it forward mastermind event. How, more experienced people can pay it forward to newer investors to help them take action, and then instill that value in them that, okay, we helped you. Now it's your turn to help the next generation that comes up behind you to get them across the, getting their first deals and so forth. So that paying forward thing, so there can be an abundance and a continuous progress forward that doesn't stop with what we as individuals can do. So that's really kind of how I see this progressing over the next few years.
I love that.
That is awesome.
I've noticed that as this pay it forward, let's collaborate, everybody can be a winner, not in the like everybody is a winner, like there's only one first place. But everybody can support each other. I've noticed that mindset just in general. It's interesting, and maybe it's just where I live and kind of what I see around here, but it seems like there's becoming a greater divide between those that really subscribe to that philosophy that I can help you, and that's not going to take away from me. That abundance mindset is what it's often labeled, from a lot of folks, at least in around where I live, and some of the people that I interact with, where it's very much that scarcity mindset of like, I'm going to protect and keep my knowledge all close to me because I don't want anybody to steal it and screw me over or whatever. I've just noticed that those two camps seem to be getting further and further apart. I don't know if you guys have noticed something similar, but it's interesting. It's a struggle that I have when I've just noticed when I'm interacting with people. I want to bring people from over to here, and that's hard.
I feel like that's the difference between, and I think in every generation that's there, it's becoming more and more dominant now with the way things are accelerated. And I think the new model, interestingly, and it's connected more with the old model before all these ideas came in, is that for us to move forward, whether in business or in any other setting, we need to work with people. Mm-hmm. Like that business model of constantly competing with people and not interacting with people, not sharing information, connections, resources, that doesn't work in a world where information is completely abundant. I was listening to an interview with Elon Musk. It was so interesting. Like you could see these two mindsets within the interview. The interviewer had the old mindset. Elon Musk doesn't. So he's literally asking him in that way. So aren't you concerned about these car companies coming in and as a competition? And he will say that. He's like, well, maybe Apple is a competition, but not Google, because they don't do that. But he's like, I want these people to come into the picture because I want people to bring in more electric cars. And in fact, he's like, we've made patents available to everybody to like take advantage of. And Google is doing that. They're making it available. Why are they doing this stuff? Because we're starting to, I feel like at a collective level, but also, and we're starting to realize that we need to start working together. Like we don't live in a world where somebody has this advantage of information in a corner. If you really wanted to, you can pretty much find anything for free online. Yeah. Anything. It doesn't matter what it is. You can go through a university program for free. You can go find anybody who's selling anything, a course, you can find it. You might have to put it together yourself from different sources, but you can find it. You can go and search people that'll help you with almost anything. So why this competition mentality in the sense that I'm against you? That I feel like that's an older mentality that's kind of dying out. It's just not working in this world because it requires people to bring their knowledge and perspective together and combine it with other people, because the systems are getting more complex. And I know Jens has worked with systems, whether in real estate or in his IT. Well, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, and I think as you were talking about how all the information is available out there, right? It truly is, and you can learn so much. I think, I think the biggest challenge is putting it together and actually making it work, right? Putting the knowledge together and taking action on it and make some sort of product or whatever it is out of it is the biggest challenge, right? I think that's where we come in as coaches, is trying to get all these disparate thoughts together and said, okay, is that truly the direction you want to head in? Okay, cool, let's work on that versus, there's a million different ways we could go. So getting the focus and the attention on there. But then coming back to that thing about, collaboration and sharing and everything, and I had a scarcity mindset early on. It's like, if that zero-sum game, like if I won, they lost, and vice versa. And I took some of that into the real estate early on. There was that sense of competition, but I realized I cannot do anything by myself, or very, very little, and it would take me forever to get anywhere. So I would rather think about how the pie is getting bigger and we all can get a slice of the pie versus there's a fixed size pie, right? So just, the early deals I did with partners, I got a very, very, very small piece of it, but it got me into the game. I was like, cool, now I'm learning. Now I'm seeing what it means, this looks like from the quote unquote inside, how they are putting these larger deals together. I didn't really care, how small that slice was. But then as I increase my value and I start to understand how this is done, I was able, the pie still increased because we were able to do more deals. And then also, my relative size of it also grew because my value grew in that space, right? So I think really knowledge is there, putting the knowledge together in a way that creates value, that creates a positive outcome for people. I think that's what we need to focus on these days, right? So Elon Musk, a lot of people could start electric car company. Very few people puts the knowledge together to actually do it, right? The same thing in real estate. A lot of people could put a deal together. Very few people are able to assemble the right team and take the necessary action to actually make it happen. Yeah, and we sometimes lose out on deals to somebody that is more aggressive, want to pay more for it. It's like, okay, well, there's probably another deal around the corner, which we've seen this year. There certainly is, right? So I just feel like, and sometimes the deals you don't do are the best ones because something better comes up behind it, right? So I just feel like having that trust that if you put the effort into it, the outcome, you're going to get the outcome that you're looking for eventually.
Yeah, and I love this, and that's one of the things that, and I want to go a little bit into how Jens has leveraged this his community to kind of gain clients in the process, because it all connects with, it doesn't matter if it's real estate, because I've seen the real estate world, how people collaborate in there, or any other area, or coaching. I think it's all the same. I think it comes down to how you view your world. And even as I'm building my own community, initially my thought was, well, I'm going to build it to a point, and then bring in other coaches. I still wanted other coaches and trainers to come into my community, but it was more like, oh, I'll be paying them to do this. But at some point I was like, why am I doing this? Is this like a set process? But then the more I noticed, especially as I started noticing, I was sharing with Jens, like, we're sharing clients. And then I started it with my other, one of my clients. She was sending me a bunch of clients, and she was in the process of becoming a coach. I'm like, well, what if I collaborated with her? Why can't we work together to build this community where we're serving people? And again, the analogy goes back to that pie. If we can make the pie big enough, everybody has a good relative size in there in terms of the resource piece. But I also look at the other side of it, the opportunity for growth and learning.
You're listening to the Coach's Journey podcast.